Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us and welcome to the Fleets for the Future webinar. My name is Sarah Reed, Program Assistant at the National Association of Regional Councils. If you should have any technical questions during the webinar, please email Cameron. His email is cameron@narc.org. You can see it on the welcome slide here. There will be time for questions and discussion at the end of the presentations. If you have a question during the webinar, please type it into the questions box on your control panel on the right-hand side. A recording of this webinar will be available, and you can download the slides right now in the control panel under Handouts. Great, let's get started. So here is our agenda for today. I'm pleased to be joined by National Joint Powers Alliance and their vendors to present to you some great opportunities in purchasing alternative fuel vehicles. Philip Krychek from Meister Consulting Group will be going over the objectives and background on Fleets for the Future, and then Mike will be going over NJPA before turning it over to the vendors. Please keep in mind you can download the slides for closer viewing. So we're going to start with some quick poll questions. I'm going to turn it over to Philip, who will be leading us through. Please pay attention to your screen.
Thanks, Sarah. Can everyone, can you hear me, Sarah?
Yes, Philip, thank you.
Great. Hello, everyone. My name is Philip Krychek with Meister Consultants Group, and I lead the technical coordinators on the Fleets for the Future grants. I'll be walking you through how these opportunities that we're going to share with you today were established and telling you a little bit more about the program overall. Fleets for the Future is a Department of Energy sponsored partnership that aims to advance the deployment of alternative fuel vehicles nationally. When we designed this project, we talked to a number of stakeholders and fleet managers to figure out what they thought were the biggest barriers to deployment of vehicles in their local context. And we found that several themes kept coming up. One was a perceived upfront cost barrier that is improving over time, but is still very real. A second is the degree of complexity associated with ordering vehicles that need to be customized and highly modified from their OEM configurations in order to meet the needs of a very broad and diverse set of public sector entities. And fleet managers not really knowing who to trust and how to proceed in a relatively new and emerging market segment. And then finally, we were finding that even the people who meant the best and had the highest goals for sustainability in their fleets had limited time and lots of job demands and really needed simple solutions. So we designed this project with those considerations in mind, and we're proud today to talk with you about some of the initial opportunities that are available under this grant. Next, I'm going to transition to a couple quick poll questions just to understand a little bit more about you as the audience and confirm that we have the right people in attendance. Cameron, would you mind putting the poll questions up? And everyone prepare to answer some questions via the webinar software. So the first question I wanted to talk you through was to learn about what sort of entity you represent, whether it's an entity that's looking to purchase vehicles now, an entity that's really just wants to learn more about the project, maybe a supporter or a regional entity that is then going to share this opportunity with their own stakeholders in the region. Are you a vendor or are you an interested third party? And Cameron, I'll let you advance to the next question when you've seen that enough responses have come in.
We are still collecting responses. Thank you, Philip. You can now see the answers.
Fantastic. Thanks everyone for participating. And it does look like we have a good audience here and look forward to working with you to give you some more information. Next poll question, please. And this is going to be, for those of you who are looking to purchase vehicles, how many of you are members of NJPA? How many of you are members of another purchasing cooperative and familiar with the process? And how many of you is this a new concept for?
We'll give everyone about 10 more seconds to respond on your screen.
Okay, great. So it appears that we have a good opportunity for educating people about cooperative procurement during this webinar. And to further hone in on your experience with cooperative procurement in the vehicle sector, we wanted to know how many of you are aware of the fact that NJPA offers vehicles for public sector members to purchase. This one, I presume we can advance very quickly. Just a simple yes, no.
Give it about 10 more seconds.
Okay, great. And then our final question before we proceed with the webinar is to learn a little bit more about what motivated you to attend today. In particular, what barriers are most significant that you're facing. This could include wanting to reduce the upfront cost of the vehicles, to reduce the amount of time you have to spend and the cost of preparing solicitations, to tap into expertise on vehicle specifications with a provider that's already done a lot of this work, or to get vehicles purchased faster, or any other considerations you may be motivating you. And on this question, you can actually select multiple. Okay, great. This is in line with what we expected. A lot of people have voiced interest in getting a way to reduce their costs and tap into expertise and save themselves some time. So with that, let's proceed talking a little bit more about fleets for the future, and very soon turn it over to the vendors. Cameron, next slide, please. Great. So the goals of Fleets for the Future are really fourfold. We are aiming to help fleet purchasers understand the hows and whys of purchasing vehicles that are not directly available through OEMs, create bulk procurement opportunities for public sector entities to take advantage of, deploy ultra-fuel vehicles at low cost, and then catalog lessons learned and ways to take advantage of this sort of effort in the future. Our scope is alt-fuel vehicles broadly, including electric vehicles, natural gas vehicles, propane auto gas vehicles, flex fuel vehicles, and fueling infrastructure for all of the above. Next slide, please. As part of our education efforts, we've assembled a set of packets on how to procure various types of alternative fuel vehicles. These are available for your perusal at a later date. And we've also provided some information about strategic procurement processes for alternative fuel vehicles. These are useful if you're looking to go on your own. However, we're talking today about opportunities that are readily available now. Next slide, please. So to tell you a little bit about how we decided to work with NJPA and its vendors, we're looking for a buying cooperative because we really wanted a solution that complied with key public procurement requirements. The most important thing here being that these are competitive awards that are broadly nationally solicited. We wanted turnkey solutions so that public sector entities didn't need to spend a lot of time dealing with multiple vendors and the complexities of multiple contracts. We wanted to bring the value of reduced costs, and we needed a solution that would be available long after our grant ends next year. So after a considerable discussion and talking with a number of buying cooperatives nationally, we selected National Joint Powers Alliance because of their interest in collaborating with us to develop new contract vehicles and new opportunities to purchase alternative fuel vehicles. We also selected them because they're well known and well respected and have a gigantic member base. We selected them because of their expertise in specification, evaluation, legal considerations, and operation, and their availability to serve needs in all 50 states. And finally, because we know that they get the best tier pricing from the OEMs through aggressive bidding by their partners. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Mike Doman, who is the contract administrator for a number of the vehicle contracts on NJPA, and let him tell you a little bit more about the deals available.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mike Doman from NJPA. I'm a contract administrator here at NJPA. So as Philip explained earlier, kind of the partnership between NJPA and Fleets for the Future. So they look to NJPA to be the national procurement partner with Fleets for the Future. So National Joint Powers Alliance. What is National Joint Powers Alliance? Well, we are a government agency. We are governed by a publicly elected board of directors. All the employees here at NJPA are public employees, much like our members. One of the things we do is cooperative purchasing, and we do this to provide solutions and choices to our members. NJPA facilitates a competitive solicitation and award process. We do this nationally. We do this on behalf of our members' needs and expectations. NJPA also follows an 11-step procurement process. We do this satisfying the competitive solicitation requirements, much like our members' processes. Some of the things with cooperative purchasing is some of the advantages are time and efficiency. It saves those procurement people time. They have multiple bids they're responding to, are going out with, multiple RFPs that they're going out for, and the solutions that they need. By using a cooperative purchasing solution, they can receive those solutions in a much more timely manner. As most of you know that have gone through the traditional bid process, it can be long. And in the end, you might not get the vendor you really want. Our membership. What includes our membership? So it's state and local government agencies. Examples: cities, counties, special districts, water districts, electric districts. Public and private education can become members. So your K-12 schools, your universities. Other tax-exempt organizations, nonprofits can become members. Examples: housing authorities, other associations. and rural power cooperatives are just some examples. Ultimately, NJPA's mission is to build valued relationships, deliver innovative solutions with integrity, and exceed the expectations of our members. Next slide, please. So what does NJPA offer? NJPA offers industry-leading vehicle vendors offering alternative fuel options. We have OEM offerings, turnkey units, alternative fuel upfitting along with standard upfitting. And when we talk turnkey units, that includes the alternative fuel and standard upfits, all in one turnkey solution. We offer competitively awarded leasing options. National Cooperative Leasing is an NJPA awarded vendor. You'll be hearing from Chris later on in this webinar. And we have some new offerings. Late this spring, we awarded 5 different vendors in electric vehicle supply equipment and related services category. This new offering came because our members needed a solution. They also, are looking to purchase, of course, let's just say electric vehicles, but they also needed that infrastructure to go along with it. They reached out to NJPA and we worked with them to go out with a solicitation and award vendors. Next slide, please. So what are some vendors available through NJPA? NJPA has 200 plus contracts, but I just wanted to put a few of the contracts of the vendors that offer alternative fuel options. So you can see National Auto Fleet Group, who we'll be talking about later in this webinar, Zenith Motors, who we're presenting in this webinar, and then also some below that also offer some form of alternative fuel solutions. Next slide, please. So what is the value of becoming an NJPA member? Well, this first bullet point is very important. Membership is at no cost, no obligation, and no liability. You can choose from over 200 plus contracts, not just the vendors that we're talking about today on this webinar. You can streamline the purchasing process. There's no need to duplicate the process. You can use cooperative purchasing. NJPA membership establishes that necessary paper trail, right from the beginning, signing up for membership, all the way through to the purchase, right through your solution when it's delivered. We have all the contract documentation we hold here, and it's accessible to you at any time. Next slide, please. So some of you from the poll questions may not have heard of NJPA or are not members of NJPA. So if you're interested, how would you join NJPA? One of the things you can do is you can go to our website, www.njpacoop.org. This will take you to our homepage. Once you get to that homepage, you will see where the arrow's pointing to the red Join Now tab. If you click this tab, it will bring you to our membership page. Once again, I want to point out, no cost, no obligation, and no liability. Most apply to join NJPA using the online application. It takes about a minute. Once you submit that, usually within 2 business days, most likely the same day, you'll receive your NJPA member ID. Within 7 to 10 business days, you'll also receive a membership packet with the contract directory, an NJPA About Us, for you to look through. Now, knowing some of the boards and councils out there, they may require a hard copy version of a membership agreement. Going down a little bit further, you'll see the 3 bullet points. If a hard copy is required, you can pick from the participating member agreement or the interlocal agreement. If you're a nonprofit, you can pick from the associate member agreement. All these agreements are hard copy versions that you can fill out, execute on your side, the members, send to NJPA, we'll execute them on our side, and we send a copy of that back, the original actually, back with you in your membership packet, so you have for your files. At any time, if you have any questions about membership, about NJPA, you can also click this Join Now tab and reach out to Duff or Katie. They'll be happy to answer any of your membership questions. Next slide, please. So one of the areas I talked about earlier is a solution was needed for the infrastructure. Our members reached out to us and said, we need help in the electric vehicle supply equipment world. So NJPA went out with a solicitation, and late this spring, I'm awarded 5 vendors with this RFP. One of the things we were looking for that our members reached out to us, that they provide network solutions, the actual charging station solutions. Maintenance and installation was key, and also the turnkey solutions. So that means that not only do these vendors offer the charging station, but you can also pair them together with a network solution for a turnkey solution. You can see the 5 awarded vendors: ChargePoint, Greenlots, LilyPad, AeroEnvironment, and Siemens. Those were our awarded vendors. Next slide, please. So National Auto Fleet Group is our vehicle contract. Working with Fleets for the Future and National Auto Fleet Group and NJPA, we talked a little bit about alternative fuel vehicles. National Auto Fleet Group came up with a few different options for this October timeframe. One being the Chevy Volt. You've probably heard of that. It's a very popular EV vehicle. Another was the 2019 Ford Police Responder Hybrid Sedan. And of course, then this Ford Transit Van. I want to just point out that the Transit Van, along with the F-150s, include the GGE system. It's an upfit system that when we talk about the pricing grid later in the webinar, you'll be able to see that as a turnkey solution. Not that you would get the vehicle and then have to go out for your upfit. It comes in a turnkey solution. I just want to point out too, before we go to our next slide, is that Barry Carr is also on this call. He's a Clean Cities leader and a gaseous fuel upfit expert if you have any questions at the end of this webinar. Next slide, please. So we also wanted to offer some trucks, some truck options. So you see the 3 truck options currently available for the October offerings. The spec sheets and pricing won't be included in that grid that I will get to later. I'm also currently working with National Auto Fleet Group to add a couple F-250 options for you to choose from. We are currently working on that right now. Next slide, please.
Thank you so much, Mike. And as Mike said, we'll have more information on prices after Christine and Chris speak. So next we have Christine from Zenith Motors.
Oh, thank you very much, Sarah. This is Christine Smith. I'm with Zenith Motors. And Zenith partners with a variety of organizations, including universities, state and local governments, to help them reduce their fleet cost as well as carbon emissions. Next slide, please. Zenith Motors was established in 2011 with the sole focus of helping organizations reduce their fleet cost and carbon footprint. Zenith Motors is a privately funded manufacturer, and we are located in Wilder, Kentucky. Next slide. Zenith Motors is certified by the EPA as well as the California Air Resource Board for our 100% electric vehicles. We also hold a contract, as Mike said, with NJPA and working with their clients to help them reduce their carbon emissions. Next slide. Here's a view of our product line. Everything we manufacture is 100% electric. Today, we'll be talking about our 100% electric shuttle vans, our cargo vans, and our step vans. But we do offer 100% electric buses. So please feel free to contact me offline if you have a question about any of these products. I'd be happy to discuss them further. Next slide. We're going to start with a quick overview of our 100% electric passenger transport vehicles, specifically our shuttles. Next slide. We will be reviewing our most popular configurations of our 100% electric shuttles. There are other configurations available, so please do not hesitate to contact me. Next slide. We offer a range of 100 miles. We use a lithium iron phosphate batteries, a 62 kilowatt battery pack on these vehicles. We have regenerative braking. We offer a 6 kilowatt charging system. For ease of charging, your vehicle comes included with an electric vehicle supply equipment with the J1772. We offer a wireless maintenance package, and we offer a telematics package that let the fleet managers have visibility to the van's parameters while it's out in the field. Next slide, please. So we'll quickly go over the interior features that are most popular with our clients. We offer 4 seating configurations. The one we'll review here has the 16 passengers. It has an interior gray with a bus grade black flooring. We offer a backup camera, front and rear heat, as well as front and rear air conditioning. And our vehicles have an interior height of 74 inches that allow riders to easily move about the vehicle. Next slide. We do offer some upgrades with our shuttles. You can upgrade the charging system from a 6 kilowatt to a 13 kilowatt. If a 100-mile range is too much, we can reduce that to 80 miles. Or if a 100-mile range is not quite what you need, we offer a package for 130 miles. As I said, we offer 4 seating configurations. Next slide. And one of those configurations is our wheelchair lift. This is an electric lift that is under vehicle mount, so it keeps the interior very spacious. It has a weight capacity of 700 pounds. The platform dimensions are 47 by 32, and it has a maximum height of 38 inches, which allows the occupant to easily move into the vehicle. Next slide, please. So we're going to move on to our delivery or maintenance vehicles, our cargo van. Our cargo vans have many of the same features as our electric shuttle. Next slide, please. As with our shuttle, this vehicle is 100% electric. Next slide, please. This vehicle does offer a range of 100 miles, and it has a regenerative braking package, a 6 kilowatt onboard charger, and to propel the vehicle is lithium iron phosphate battery packs. As with the shuttle, we offer wireless maintenance, a telematics package, and a backup camera. And we also offer battery heaters in both our shuttles and our cargo vans, so that in colder climates, when the vehicle is charging, the battery heaters engage to optimize the state of charge for the battery packs. Next slide, please. Our cargo vans have a GVWR of 10,050 pounds with an interior cargo space of 530 cubic square feet. This gives the vehicle a payload capacity of 3,500 pounds. Next slide. As with our shuttle vans, we do offer upgrades for the onboard charger, which allow for faster charging, and we offer the same battery packs of 80 and 130 miles. Next slide, please. One of the biggest questions we had was the cargo vans, that most of our clients were looking for something larger. So we are offering 100% electric step or walk-in vans. Next slide. You can go 2 slides over. Our next slide. These vehicles are step and walk-in vans. Have a range of 80 to 95 miles, depending on payload. These vehicles also utilize the lithium iron phosphate 4 batteries. It has a TM4 motor. We have the same regenerative braking system in this vehicle, as well as comes with the standard EVSE unit. As our shuttle and cargo vans, it has an easy to read display, which requires very little time for training. And it has a wireless maintenance package and a telematics package. Next slide. This vehicle has a cubic capacity of 1,200 cubic square feet, as well as a payload capacity of 6,000 pounds. The current wheelbase that you saw in the images is a 208-inch wheelbase, but we offer wheelbases of 158 and 178 as well. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So to kind of pull everything together, our vehicles offer a substantial reduction in ongoing and annual maintenance cost. There is no fuel cost, so you're insulated from gas price highs and predictable cost of ownership. You eliminate the need for smog checks, and you also save energy while idling. You reduce your reliance on foreign oil, and you create a positive green image with your guest. But most of all, you reduce your carbon footprint and meet the carbon reduction goals in your sustainability plans. Next slide, please. Here's my contact information. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. I'd be happy to walk you through any type of configurations or any other type of questions you may have.
Thank you so much, Christine. Next, we'll have Chris Canavati from National Cooperative Leasing to talk a little bit about some of the leasing opportunities for all of these vehicles.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Chris Canavati. I am the founder and president of National Cooperative Leasing. Thank you for the opportunity to tell you a bit about our organization and how we're helping fleets across the country leverage their existing budgets to get more of what they need. As Mike Doman said earlier, we have a competitively bid and awarded contract with NJPA for leasing and financing. That means you can access our financing without having to duplicate the bid process. We work with many of the NJPA vendors, including National Auto Fleet and Zenith Motors, to offer a turnkey, competitively bid solution for your vehicle needs. So your vehicle has been competitively bid, and now your financing as well has been competitively bid. Next slide, please. Our focus at NCL is and always will be the sled market. We service states, counties, cities, as well as K through 12 and higher education. We have over 20 years experience funding equipment in these markets. In addition, many finance companies shy away from the complexities of tribal and federal financing, and we have provided financing in these situations as well. Next slide, please. There are 3 types of leases that we'll be offering with this program. The first is called a tax-exempt municipal lease. This is a lease-to-own program. So your agency actually takes title to the vehicle from day one. We're merely financing the vehicle for you. The advantage of this program is the low rates afforded due to the tax savings. The earnings on this lease are tax exempt to us, and we pass that savings on to you in the form of a lower rate. This lease comes with an annual funding out clause or non-appropriation clause. So if your agency does not budget for the lease payments in the coming year, you can return the vehicle or vehicles and cancel the lease. We offer terms of up to 7 years on this program. The second program is called a track lease, or more commonly referred to as an open-end lease. This is a lease with the option to purchase at lease end. A predetermined residual is agreed upon at the beginning of the lease. If you choose to buy it at lease end, that will be the price of your purchase. If you return it, we will sell the vehicle. If we sell it for more than what the agreed upon price was, you get the difference. If we sell it for less, you will be charged the difference. Terms of up to 5 years are available on this program. The third lease is a fair market value lease or a closed-end lease. This is a lease with the option to purchase. Typically, mileage restrictions and overcharges will be a part of this lease. And terms of up to 5 years are available on this program as well. All 3 of these plans come with a non-appropriations provision. This feature allows you to finance your fleet acquisitions without actually creating debt. Next slide, please. If you are purchasing electric vehicles or hybrids, there's a good chance that there are federal tax credits of up to $7,500 available for these vehicles. Since you're a government agency, you cannot take advantage of these tax credits. However, we can. Under the track lease and the fair market value lease, we are the actual owner of the vehicle, and we can utilize those tax credits and again pass that savings on to your agency in the form of a lower rate. Again, these are limited. The tax credits will be limited to leases under the track lease and fair market value structure. Next slide, please. So as I said, we like National Auto Fleet and Zenith have a competitively awarded program with NJPA. So you would not have to duplicate the bid process if you want to access our programs. My contact information is here on the slide, and I'll be glad to answer any questions for you online or offline. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. So now we will turn it back over to Mike from NJPA to talk a little bit about how to purchase these vehicles and their prices.
Thank you, Sarah. So you probably are interested in how do I participate in this partnership between Fleets for the Future and NJPA? Well, if you go back to our website, the NJPA website again, and as you see on your screen, if you hover over cooperative purchasing on the main screen, you'll see a drop-down menu. Fleets for the Future is in that menu. There's a circle. If you click on that, it will take you to the Fleets for the Future, what I call their homepage, our partnership homepage. It explains a little bit about Fleets for the Future and the partnership. And then we've added just recently, as of last week, are you curious about AFVs? If you click on that, it takes you to the pricing grid that I mentioned earlier. This is still being developed, as you will see some NAs on here. We're working on financing for the Ford Transit van and financing for the Zenith solutions that are out there. This is built in a way that if you click, for instance, the Chevrolet Volt, you can see the details under the leasing agreements, and you can also see the vehicle specs on how National Auto Fleet Group has spec'd that Chevy Volt out. Probably not a great example because there's not a ton of specs on the Chevrolet Volt, but if you would click on the, let's say the F-150 XL two-wheel drive, you will see what's in, what that build is and what the specs are under each of these for the pricing grid. Same thing with Zenith Motors. They also have the info on what's included in each of those builds and spec'd out. The same thing with the details in the leasing from National Cooperative Leasing is also on there. So very easy to participate. Once you get to the Fleets of the Future page, if you do scroll all the way to the bottom, you see my contact information down there. You can reach out to me with any questions you have. Email me, call me. If you have any questions on the National Auto Fleet Group side, I can put you in contact with Jesse Cooper from National Auto Fleet Group, and he can answer any questions on the builds. I just want to point out, as Christine mentioned earlier, there are some different configurations. These are just the ones we're offering in October, but if you're interested in any other builds or any other specs, if you reach out to National Auto Fleet Group or Zenith Motors, they'll be able to help you with those. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, and to all of our presenters. So this webinar was just on some of the current opportunities that we are working on with Fleets for the Future. And this slide shows some additional opportunities that are available through our regional partner, which are available through a Massachusetts state contract with piggyback options. So if you're interested in any of these options, this PDF is on our website, fleetsforthefuture.org, and you can download it, and all of these bubbles have links that take you directly to where you need to be to purchase these opportunities. And this final slide has some of our contact information. If you have other technical questions or just need more information, you can reach out to Mike at NJPA or Christine at Zenith or Chris at NCL. And now we are going to go ahead and answer some questions. It looks like we have a lot in the queue.
All right, our first question is, does NJPA also have resources for infrastructure to support these fleets, for example, fueling stations?
Great question. Currently, for solutions, we'll just have the infrastructure for the EVSE side, the electric vehicle supply equipment. We do not currently have any solutions, let's just say, for fueling stations for CNG or anything propane, any of those type of stations yet. It's something that we'll be looking at, because just like this question, you know, great question, because this is what our members will be coming back to us with. And our assumption is, as these alternative fuel vehicles grow and become more available and more NJPA members buy them, they'll want a solution for that infrastructure for those alternative fuels also.
And a follow-up, will there be anything on infrastructure for CNG fleets?
CNG fleets, infrastructure-wise, I'm assuming you're talking about the fueling stations. That's just something that we'll be looking at. Will come from our members. I would say most likely we would end up going out with a solicitation in that. Once again, if you're talking about the infrastructure on the vehicle itself, there are different options out there on the National Auto Fleet Group website, and I apologize for not pointing that out to any of you, but nationalautofleetgroup.com. You can also go to the NJPA website, search National Auto Fleet Group in the upper right-hand search box, and that will take you to the National Auto Fleet Group landing page. In the middle of that page, you can build the vehicles you're looking for. So if you want something that may be different than those October offerings or anything like that, there's our possibilities.
And this one might be from Mike or Philip. Can NJPA be combined with other grants such as RATC, alt fuels?
Mike, I would defer to you on that about any sort of limitations you have.
Sure. No, there would be no limitations on our side. I am no expert on those incentives or what's out there. We are currently trying to work on here at NJPA to try to find avenues. So if a member does call to ask what's available, so we're trying to get resources on that to be helpful with the members too. What is out there in each state, for instance, to at least point them in the right direction. But yes, so if you're looking at a certain vehicle and there's an incentive that can be applied to that vehicle. How that exactly works on the member side, I do not know.
Okay, and is this cooperative purchasing contract compliant with Federal Transit Administration if purchasing with these funds?
FTA funds can be interesting. Currently, if you are using FTA funds, cooperative purchasing most likely is not an option. That is something we're also working on because just like the question that was asked, our members have been asking that question. So we've been researching this and trying to develop solutions in this arena too. But currently FTA funds can't be allowed with cooperative purchasing as it stands currently. We're working on that because one of the arenas that we're possibly going out for is transit buses. So if we're going to be successful in that arena for our members and offer them solutions, that's something that we need to do more research on.
And can you only lease vehicles or can you purchase them as well? What's the difference in the application and participation process?
So absolutely you can purchase the vehicles. We just offer the leasing option. For instance, the entity or let's just say the city may have limited funds, and by going the leasing route, they may be able to procure more vehicles, so to speak, than just buying them outright. So that's just an option that we work with one of our awarded vendors, National Cooperative Leasing, in both the Zenith and the National Auto Fleet Group side. So yes, you can also purchase the vehicles outright if you don't want to go the leasing route.
And what do the F-150s run on, or do we purchase F-150s and then utilize one of the alt fuel upfitting vendors?
The F-150s have I can't get the specs in front of me, but they have a GGE system. Talking with National Auto Fleet Group, that upfit either comes from Westport or A1, and that will all be a turnkey. So you won't have to, so let's say the city will not have to arrange that upfit. That'll all be included in the price, and you will see that built into the spec sheets on that grid. So it's all included in the price, and that will be just one turnkey unit.
Yes,
this is Philip.
This is Barry. This is.
Go ahead, Barry.
Go ahead. This is Barry Carr. Glad you can hear me now. I've been in the silent mode for a while, but I work in the gaseous fuels industry. So those vehicles that you'd order with the gaseous prep option, you're going to see pricing complete for both propane and natural gas. And in some of the models, I believe the F-150, you'll see a biofuel version of it. And then in the F-250, you'll see a biofuel or a dedicated version of it. And it is available, like Mike, I think, just said, either directly through Westport or through A1, who is also part of Ford's QVM program. So the vehicles maintain the original OEM warranty.
And this is Philip at Meister. I just wanted to clarify that the specific vehicles we're looking at in October are all CNG vehicles with 21 gas gallon equivalent fuel systems. So that's probably the direct answer, but there's many options that you can explore if you want something more customized by contacting the vendor directly.
Thanks, Philip. I was just going to point that out too. Thank you very much.
This one's from Mike. Can you discuss timeframes for delivery?
Delivery will be something that you'll want to reach out to National Auto Fleet Group, for instance, or Zenith Motors, for instance. And Christine can maybe respond on the Zenith side, but on the National Auto Fleet Group side, that is something when you go to the process of procuring the vehicle, deciding which vehicle you want, that National Auto Fleet Group will reach out to you with delivery time.
And for Zenith Motors, depending on backlog and vehicle configuration, we can manufacture a vehicle in 3 to 8 weeks.
What happens to these discounts after October? Is there a deadline to apply?
I can go ahead and take that one. So with National Auto Fleet Group, the opportunities in October, they're holding prices nationally that will be available if you purchase during this month. The vehicles will still be available after October. They are on contract with NJPA. So the real incentive here is the upfront price and the specs that you can find on the NJPA website. And for Zenith, the real value there is they are doing a pilot bulk discount aggregation program. So all orders that come through NJPA for Zenith Motors during this month will go towards the different tiers to receive up to 7% off the NJPA price, which is already below MSRP. So those vehicles will also be available after October, but this is really related to price and saving money on these vehicles. We'll also hopefully be offering additional windows. We're looking at alternative fuel refuse haulers in 2018. So if you're interested in other vehicles, you can sign up on fleetsforthefuture.org. You can fill out the information form to be put on our mailing list. And this is really just the first round. So definitely stay tuned, or NJPA offers a wide variety of other vehicles as well. So there'll be continual opportunities. Are there any other questions out there? You can type them in.
Bit for questions.
You can also follow us on Twitter at Fleets for Future if you want to learn more and stay connected. We're not seeing any other questions, so we have a minute or two. I just wanted to see if any of our speakers had anything they wanted to add before we go ahead and close.
This is Mike from NJPA. I just want to point out to everybody that is on the webinar that working with NJPA, Fleets for the Future, National Cooperative Leasing, Zenith, National Auto Fleet Group, and people like Barry Carr, who is a leader with the Clean Cities and is an expert in those upfit, this gaseous fuels upfit. We should be able to provide you with our answers to any questions that you have. So feel free to reach out to us because our ultimate goal is to promote these alternative fuel vehicles and avenues. So reach out to us with any questions that you have. Feel free. I just want to promote that once again.
Thank you, Mike. And I just want to remind everybody too that we recorded this webinar, and the slides are available on the control panel that you're looking at right now under handouts. And I'll also provide a link to them in the follow-up email that will come within the next day. So I just want to say thank you again, everybody, for your attendance. And as Mike said, feel free to reach out to any of us with any questions. Thanks and have a great day.